Hey, welcome back everyone. Old Bubs here. A mere 2 days ago, I picked up this here Benchmade Narrows. So I wanted to hop on and give you some first impressions and a brief overview of this knife because there is a lot going on here. If you're not familiar, the Benchmade Narrows is a brand new design from Benchmade that just came out in June of 2023. It is called the Narrows because look at that. This is without a doubt just about the thinnest knife I have ever held. For comparison's sake, here it is next to a titanium scaled Benchmade bug out, which is certainly not a thick knife by any means, and this Narrows is significantly thinner, while being what I would still consider a full-size knife. There's a quick pivot to pivot comparison. As you can see, the Narrows is quite a bit larger in all of these dimensions, and then when you turn it on its side and see that pocket profile, this thing is so thin. When you pop it on a scale, it is pure insanity. We are looking at 2.43 ounces on a knife with overall dimensions of just under 8¼ inches and a blade of 3½ inches. And truly, 2.43 ounces for a full titanium, full-size knife like this is absolute insanity. This thing is so lightweight, and with that thin profile, when you slip it down in the pocket, it absolutely disappears and you forget that you have it. As you can see, the blade steel on this guy is M390, which is of course a premium knife steel, but something that you don't see very often in Benchmade. In classic Benchmade fashion, they're going to advertise like it's the most rare and ultra premium steel that exists, even though it's probably the most common steel in high-end production knives. Just check out how this thing goes through a piece of cardboard. It is truly effortless. Thin blade stock has become much more popular on knives, and for good reason. I mean, they just slice and slice and slice. This thing glides through an apple, it glides through paper, it glides through boxes. It truly provides little to no resistance through anything you're trying to cut. So aside from just being remarkably thin and lightweight, there are also a couple of things that make this knife different and make it something that is truly different and kind of special in the current knife market. So the axis lock or bar style lock or clutch locks that you see in other brands are absolutely exploding on the market now, as the patent on the axis lock has been expired for quite a while. Traditionally, the axis lock has been run on omega springs, and this one uses what's called a torsion spring. That sounds like a super fancy word, which a torsion spring is kind of like the spring that's in this clamp here where it has tabs on the end and it wraps around a bar, so when you squeeze it, the tension releases. That's sort of the same thing that's going on inside of the Narrows. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert here by any means to know if that's going to last longer or have fewer problems than omega springs. I've actually had really good luck over the years with omega springs, but some folks have had them broke. I've actually replaced them for friends recently, so it's definitely something that I've seen happen. What I can tell you is that the way that these pullback studs and then this knife runs on little tiny ball bearings, this knife is absolutely the smoothest and most rock solid lockup, axis lock, or bar style lock knife I have ever experienced. This thing right out of the box was just drop shutty, and the detent feels tuned really well. This is a really fidgety knife, and it just operates so smoothly and beautifully. The scales are just solid pieces of milled out titanium for weight reduction. This thing feels super solid in the hand. It is kind of weird to get used to how light this thing is, but pretty quick. It's just actually really impressive rather than being off-putting. Now, I want to be super clear about a couple of things. This is a really expensive knife. Now, I did purchase this with personal funds. To this point, I still have not been sent a single knife by a single knife manufacturer, which I think is important context here. However, I do have an inside line on some friends and family coupons with Benchmade, so I used one of my 60% off coupons to score this guy, so I did not have to pay the full $550 or whatever it is price tag. I paid 60% off of MSRP for this knife. That does color my opinion a little bit for the bang for my buck that I got off of this knife. So far, in my experience with this knife, my one and only complaint is the price. And honestly, I am a little bit fatigued at the price outrage with Benchmade knives for a couple reasons. First of all, Benchmade is a US company making knives completely in the USA, which is a lot of what the knife community says that they want. Also, this is a super innovative design using premium materials, which is a lot of what the knife community says that they want. This thing is absolutely not cheap to manufacture, and also, last but certainly not least, I do know from Benchmade that they pay their their employees pretty darn well. The person who gave me the friends and family coupon to purchase this knife does maintenance on all of the machinery for Benchmade, and he told me that when he left his former employer to work for Benchmade, it was nearly double the pay that he was making as a machine repairman somewhere else. And I think that's worth something. Assuredly, there are people at the top of a company like Benchmade that are doing very well for themselves, but I can also respect a company that charges what they charge so that they can pay the employees that are making the knives, producing the knives, and selling the knives a little bit more than your average job. I won't pretend to have intimate knowledge of the inner workings of Benchmade, but everything I've heard prevents me from having a mini stroke when I see that they want to charge $550 for what will be a super premium knife that's very innovative and truly a pleasure to hold and to carry. I definitely plan on carrying this knife a whole lot more, and will follow up with a complete review if any of my initial opinions change on this knife or I learn more things along the way. I certainly think that if you can find the funds to purchase this knife, this is one that's going to be worth it. I'm a little nervous that this one could go the way of the Benchmade Anthem, which, if you aren't aware, is a super sought after integral knife that was discontinued by Benchmade a few years ago due to poor sales performance. It was blamed largely by the community on the high price tag that it warranted, but now people will pay upwards of $800 to $1,000 for them on the secondary market. I truly hope that enough of the knife community will swallow their price pride on this one to see all of the work and innovation that went into this thing, into making a fantastic product, and that this knife will be here to stay and not go the way of the Anthem. If you're interested in making a free contribution to this channel, go ahead and hit like and subscribe. I really, truly, and genuinely appreciate your time that you took to watch this video. I hope that you'll let love and light fill your life. Stay sharp out there, friends. We'll see you on the next one.